Hi everybody, welcome to another video. Just before I start, I just wanted to remind everybody that I've set up an Instagram page only about 2 months ago. We started it up, so you can pop along there. It's just sometimes it's a bit more immediate, really, I suppose, than YouTube. And people sort of comments and that, and it's also a way of people contacting me if they want to send pictures or videos or whatever of something not working or whatever. It's just another medium really to get in contact, and I don't publicise it a lot as such. And also I've just set up a Facebook page literally the last week or so. There's virtually nothing on there at the moment, but I'm in the process. I'll put little bits on as they come along, and again it's just another way of interacting really. So I thought I'd mention those. So what we got the ANI R160, which is the full size 160 gun, and we got the Iwata Bellaria 1.3. Now the reason for doing a back-to-back of these two is that in my mind although they're different price ranges, they're competing against each other, because I would imagine, and I would certainly be this way, if I was looking at the price of these two, the ANI is about £105 in the UK all in, which is about $145 US, and the Bellaria, now you can get these off eBay from Japan, normally is the best place to get them from, and by the time you include the cut, they're about 200 GB pounds, which is about $280 US, so it's twice the price. But the reason I say they compete against each other is that I would think most people would think the ANI, looking at that, is it worth spending the extra to get the Iwata? And by modern standards, they're both relatively cheap. I say that in brackets, but they are relatively cheap compared to your Segolas, your Sartas, certainly your DeVilbiss DV1s, etc. The Techna or GTI or Pro Light, as it's called now, is a bit less expensive, but still more expensive than these two by a mile. So they're both good guns, and they're both universal guns. You can use both of these guns for base and for clear, and they work very, very well. Just before I start, you'll see that I'm just doing a little patch on the side of the tank here. I sat the two on top of each other. These are project tanks, so they're not going anywhere or doing anything, and I sat the two on top of each other, and I put like a little it's like a little sponge infill between the two, and it obviously the weight of the tank cut through it, and because the clear coat was only a day old, dry enough to touch, but it's still soft after a day, it made two impressions on the clear coat. So I literally just sanded it down. I put a little bit of primer in there on the end of a little like artist brush basically, and just dot the primer in there, fill up the hole, and then you can sand it down and just start again basically. So that was the process. I thought I'd leave it in because it's just to show you that if you do get some marks, you don't need to like start again and prime again. These haven't been primed anyway, but you get what I'm saying. If there's a small imperfection, you can normally sort it out without having to do the whole tank basically. So that's the reason for that anyway. So these two guns together, as I say, they're both capable of doing base and clear to a very, very high degree. One is twice the price of the other, so this video is basically trying to work out whether it's worth spending twice the price. What do you get for that extra money? Well, you get build quality. On the Iwata, you definitely get build quality. The build quality of it is very, very good. The ANI is good and serviceable, but compared to the Iwata, it's more agricultural, if that makes sense. Does a brilliant job, but more agricultural. The Iwata is much more finely honed, not in its finish, but in its build. It's going to last you years and years and years. As I said before with this gun, it's been out for years, so there's lots of cheap stuff on eBay which you can get, that tips, caps, needles, all sorts of things you could possibly want. People have new stuff that hasn't been used, that's 5 years old in a grubby box, and they stick it on eBay. So there's plenty of stuff normally. You might not get exactly what you want at the time you want it, but if you keep an eye out, there's plenty of stuff around. So that's one of the good things about the Iwata. You don't have to pay loads of money. You know, if you're going to buy the stuff from a dealer, you know, like a cap or tips or something, it's not normally worth doing it. They're very expensive. Whereas with the ANI, you can buy a complete tip set for about £40, which is the tip, the needle, and the cap. So you can change the whole thing from a 1.8 primer gun into a 1.3 base and clear gun for relatively cheap money. And the guns are quite reliable. I said once on one of the videos about the ANI, you know, I don't think it will last as long as the others. And one chap messaged me and said, you know, what's gone wrong with yours? And my answer was nothing. Nothing had gone wrong with mine. Although I don't use them loads, to be fair. Nothing had actually gone wrong with it. There's a few spray guns that I've got that things have gone wrong with them, but the ANIs aren't any of them. So I'm just going by what I look at really, and the feel. From an engineering point of view, it doesn't seem as if it's going to last the same as the Iwata will. But you know, only time will tell, I guess. But as I say, I've had no problems with it. It's just that you are getting much better build quality with the Iwata. Now, as to the spraying performance for Basecoat, they are perfect. Both of them spray really, really well. This is only a small tank, and this is only for spraying Basecoat. This video, I will put a link or a couple of links in the description so that you can see them both spraying clear coat if that's what you want to do. But take my advice, these are both fully capable of spraying clear coat, high solids clear coat, medium solids clear coat, just as good as they are Basecoat. So as an all-round gun, both of these are cracking guns, and they're both, well, one's obviously a lot cheaper than the other, but they're both relatively inexpensive, as I was saying before. So if you're looking at, you know, getting a spray gun for a project, and you're wondering whether you need to spend loads more money, if it's just one project and you don't think you're going to do any more, then it's not worth spending the money really, because the ANI is a cracking gun and it will last for years, whereas the Iwata will just last for that many more years, I think. As I say, I've had no problem with the ANI, and I've had no problem with this Iwata. I've had problems with other Iwatas, which I'll go into another time. But with this gun, it's a very vulnerable design. Vulnerable, I think they say, don't they? It's been out for years, basically, and it's finally honed to be a good, reliable gun. Both of them. This is a Honda Basecoat, which is NH642M, and it's quite a dark metallic silver, and you can see it slightly, but if it's not put on properly, it gets really mottled, you know, dark patches and light patches, etc. So it's quite a good test for these two. I did a dropped coat with both of them, which you'll see near the end. But you can often tell by a spray gun how well it lays the stuff down, how even it lays the stuff down, by using some of these base coats that are a bit more telltale of the problems you get. And as I say, these both handled this superbly well. If you're a fan, yeah, this is going to be a pun. If you're a fan of big fans, then the F160 is the gun to go for, because it's got a bigger fan. And if you're doing bigger stuff and you want to do it quicker, then it's definitely the one to go. It's very difficult to split these two on performance, really. They both perform equally well. But I suppose if you had to split them, and that's what we're aiming to do on this video, I'm going to tell you my completely unbiased view. Nobody pays me to say anything. I buy all the stuff myself. I make my mind up myself. And I just tell you like I find it, basically. I'm going to tell you that if I was going to buy a gun, I would buy the F160. If I was going to buy a gun that I wanted to keep and cherish and enjoy for years and years, I would probably buy the Iwata. But the best gun to use out of these two, I find, is the F160. It's just a joy to use. As I say, the only thing holding it back for me is it feels a bit agricultural. It's just not as it's just not as well made, really. But you're paying half the price, you know, so you can't really expect it. But I don't think you would be disappointed with either of these two. Here we are just doing a drop coat, so we just drop the pressure slightly and bring the gun much further away, probably double distance, and it just lays a nice even coat just to stop it, anything being mottled or anything looking sort of stripy or anything looking out of the ordinary. Helps the metallic stand up slightly so that when you do lacquer it, I did lacquer these tanks. I can't remember what I used, but it'll be another video at another time. But I thought there was enough here for base coat. And as I say, if you want to know for clear coat, then check out the description, because I'll put links to both of these doing clear coat and you can see what I felt about them. But here's the final result, and I think you'll agree, both of them lay fantastic base coat. So brilliant for base coat, and as I said before, and I know I keep repeating myself, brilliant for clear coat. So one of these guns, either one of these guns, will not disappoint you at all. As I say, if you're after build quality as well, I would go with the Iwata. But if you're after a really good gun at a really good price, then I would go for the ANI, because nothing can touch it, to be honest. It's a hose if you want it to be. It's as refined as you want it to be. Really, a really good gun to use at such a cheap price. You can't beat it. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and thanks for watching. Don't forget, check out, as I said, the Instagram and the new Facebook page, just to you know, as I say, another way of people contacting me and airing their problems, as they say. Feel like an agony aunt sometimes at the moment, agony aunt even sometimes at the moment. All right, guys, thanks very much, and thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll keep them coming. Cheers, bye bye.